Welcome back to the ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel, where we break down the most dramatic and jaw-dropping storylines from America's most beloved daytime drama. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intense and emotionally charged plot arcs that has captivated viewers and left everyone on the edge of their seats. The story we're about to explore involves betrayal, imprisonment, courage, and the kind of high-stakes drama that General Hospital does better than anyone else in the television industry. Prepare yourself as we uncover the harrowing journey of Anna Devane and Spencer Casadini as they navigate the darkness of captivity and fight for their very survival. The kidnapping. Anna's nightmare begins. The events leading up to this pivotal moment have been months in the making, with viewers watching as Anna Devane, one of General Hospital's most resilient and resourceful characters, suddenly vanished from Port Charles. Anna, who has spent decades protecting the people she loves and fighting for justice in her role as a former spy and concerned mother, found herself in a situation she never anticipated. Unlike her past experiences, where she wielded control and knowledge, this time Anna was completely isolated, cut off from her allies, friends, and family. The kidnapping came as a shock to the entire Port Charles community, leaving everyone wondering about her whereabouts and the identity of her captor. During her time in captivity, Anna was held in what appeared to be a sophisticated detention facility, far removed from the comfort and safety she once knew. The room was cold, sparse, and designed to break the spirit of even the strongest person. Days turned into weeks as Anna remained imprisoned in this dark location, with minimal contact with the outside world. However, the strength that has defined her character throughout her years on General Hospital began to emerge once again. Anna refused to let despair overtake her. Instead, she carefully observed her surroundings, noted the patterns of her guards, and began to formulate an escape plan. Her years of espionage experience and tactical training proved invaluable as she studied every detail of the facility, waiting for the perfect opportunity to make her move. The discovery, Spencer's unexpected presence. As Anna executed her daring escape from her own room, she discovered something that would change everything. While exploring the corridors of the facility, she found another door, and beyond it, another cell. When she looked inside, Anna's heart stopped. There, imprisoned just as she was Spencer Casadini. Spencer, the young man who had recently been dealing with his own complications in Port Charles, was also being held captive in this mysterious laboratory. The shock of seeing him alive, though imprisoned, gave Anna a surge of purpose beyond her own freedom. This wasn't just about Anna anymore. It was about rescuing Spencer and getting him back to his family who loved him dearly. Spencer's presence in that facility raised more questions than answers. Who would go to such lengths to capture both Anna and Spencer? What was the connection between these two? Why were they being held in this apparent laboratory? And what were the intentions of those running this operation? These questions flooded Anna's mind as she worked quickly to free Spencer from his cell. The bond between Anna and Spencer, rooted in their connections to their respective families and their shared experience in Port Charles, became the foundation for their desperate bid for freedom. Anna explained the situation to Spencer, explaining that they needed to work together if they had any chance of escaping this nightmare. The great escape, courage, and determination. With Spencer free from his cell, the two of them embarked on a perilous journey through the facility. They had to move carefully, quietly, avoiding the guards who patrolled the corridors. Every footstep echoed in the silence, every sound amplified by the tension of the moment. Anna's experience as a spy proved crucial during this escape. She navigated them through the facility, avoiding detection and finding the safest route to freedom. Spencer, though younger and less experienced in such situations, demonstrated remarkable courage and trust in Anna's leadership. Together, they became partners in survival, relying on each other's strengths to overcome the obstacles before them. The guards at the facility were determined to prevent their escape. As Anna and Spencer made their way toward the exit, they were forced to evade their pursuers multiple times. There were moments of intense danger where it seemed like capture was imminent. Guards chased them through hallways and corridors, their footsteps thundering behind them. Anna and Spencer had to think quickly, taking unexpected turns, finding hidden passages, and using their intelligence and agility to stay ahead of their captors. The physical and mental toll of the escape was immense, but neither of them dared to give up. They pushed forward, driven by the desperate need to reach safety and freedom. The adrenaline pumping through their veins kept them moving forward, faster and faster, as the sound of their pursuers grew closer and then, gradually, began to fade into the distance. Return to Port Charles, a homecoming mixed with revelations. After an agonizing journey, Anna and Spencer finally made it back to Port Charles. The relief of returning to familiar streets and seeing the faces of people they knew was overwhelming. Port Charles, once a place of comfort and home, now felt like an oasis in the desert after their time in captivity. However, their return was not a simple homecoming. They carried with them crucial information about who had kidnapped them and why. More importantly, they had to tell someone who would take this threat seriously and have the power to act on the information they possessed. Anna and Spencer's first priority was to reach Laura Casadini, Spencer's grandmother and one of the most powerful and respected figures in Port Charles. Laura had been worried sick about Spencer's disappearance, and when she saw them both walk through her door alive and relatively unharmed, emotions overwhelmed her. The relief on her face quickly transformed into deep concern as Anna and Spencer explained everything that had happened to them. They recounted the details of their imprisonment, the facility where they were held, and the mysterious operations they witnessed. Laura listened intently, her expression growing darker as the full scope of the situation became apparent to her. Laura's righteous fury. Justice must be served. Laura's love for her grandson and her sense of justice were ignited by the revelations. The fact that Spencer had been kidnapped and in prison was not something she could let slide. Laura, with her connections, authority, and unwavering determination to protect her family, knew exactly what needed to be done. She made a decisive move that demonstrated the extent of her power and influence in Port Charles. Laura ordered the Port Charles Police Department to take action immediately. She commanded them to locate the secret laboratory where Anna and Spencer had been held and to completely demolish it, eliminating any trace of the operation that had been taking place there. Beyond simply destroying the facility, Laura demanded that the police conduct a thorough investigation to identify everyone responsible for the kidnappings and the operations being conducted in that laboratory. She wanted names, she wanted evidence, and she wanted justice. The investigation that followed became one of the most significant cases in Port Charles history. Police officers fanned out across the city and beyond, following leads and tracking down suspects. They worked to uncover the complete network of individuals involved in this criminal enterprise. Laura herself remained deeply involved in the process, ensuring that nothing was overlooked and that those responsible would face the full consequences of their actions. The broader implications: a threat to Port Charles, the discovery of this secret laboratory, and the kidnapping of Anna and Spencer revealed a much larger threat to the safety and security of Port Charles. The fact that someone had the resources, knowledge, and audacity to kidnap two prominent residents of the town and operate a clandestine laboratory raised serious concerns about what else might be happening in the shadows. The general hospital community, which had already dealt with numerous threats and mysteries over the years, now faced yet another dangerous conspiracy that had been operating right under their noses. The implications of this discovery extended far beyond just Anna and Spencer. It raised questions about other potential victims, other experiments or operations that might have been taking place in that facility. The police investigation became increasingly complex as more details emerged. Evidence was collected, testimonies were taken, and a picture began to form of a sophisticated criminal organization with ties that extended throughout Port Charles and potentially beyond. the residents of the town began to feel a sense of vulnerability, realizing that danger could strike at any moment and that there were forces at work that threatened their peace and security. Character development. Anna's resilience redefined. Throughout this ordeal, Anna's character was tested in ways that had rarely been seen before in her long history on General Hospital. While Anna has always been portrayed as a strong, capable woman who could handle dangerous situations, this particular experience pushed her to her limits. The physical and emotional toll of captivity, combined with the weight of responsibility she felt for Spencer's safety, demonstrated a new dimension to her character. Anna's escape from the facility was not just about physical prowess, it was about mental fortitude and the refusal to accept defeat even in the darkest of circumstances. After her return to Port Charles, Anna found herself reflecting on her experience and what it meant for her future. The character, who had always been the protector, now had to grapple with the experience of being a victim. This vulnerability, paradoxically, made her stronger in many ways. She began to reconnect with the people she loved, appreciating them in a way she might not have before. Her relationships deepened as she shared her experience with those close to her, allowing them to support her in her recovery. Anna's resilience, which had always been one of her defining characteristics, was reaffirmed through this trial, and viewers saw her emerge from this ordeal with renewed strength and determination. Spencer's journey from victim to survivor. Spencer's role in this storyline was equally significant, though his journey was different from Anna's. As a younger character, Spencer's experience in captivity could have been even more traumatic than it was for Anna. However, Spencer demonstrated remarkable courage and maturity in dealing with the situation. His trust in Anna during their escape showed his character development and his ability to make critical decisions when faced with adversity. The experience of being kidnapped and imprisoned, while undoubtedly traumatic, forced Spencer to grow up in certain ways and to appreciate the people in his life, particularly his grandmother Laura. Spencer's return to Port Charles was not just about physical safety, it was about his emotional and psychological recovery. The young man had to process what had happened to him and come to terms with the fact that there were people in the world capable of such cruelty. However, with the support of his family, particularly Laura, Spencer began his journey toward healing. His experience also made him more aware of the dangers that existed in Port Charles and the importance of staying vigilant. For viewers who had watched Spencer grow up on the show, this storyline represented a significant turning point in his character development. Laura's power and authority, a force for justice. Laura Casadin's response to the kidnapping of her grandson showcased her role as one of the most influential and powerful figures in Port Charles. Laura, who had long been established as a woman of principle and strength, did not hesitate to take action. Her decision to order the destruction of the laboratory and to initiate a comprehensive police investigation demonstrated her willingness to use her authority to protect her family and her community. Laura's character has always been defined by her protective instincts and her commitment to justice, and this storyline reinforced those aspects of her personality. Throughout the investigation that followed, Laura remained a driving force, ensuring that the police did not lose focus on finding those responsible. Her presence in the investigation rooms, her demands for regular updates, and her insistence on thorough investigation demonstrated her power and influence. Viewers saw Laura at her best during this period, fighting for justice with the same determination she had shown throughout her decades-long presence on General Hospital. Her character became even more three-dimensional as viewers saw not just a grandmother concerned for her grandson, but a powerful woman willing to go to great lengths to protect her family and community. The investigation unfolds, seeking the truth. The police investigation that followed the discovery of the laboratory was not a simple matter. The officers involved had to piece together evidence, interview witnesses, and follow a complex web of connections that led to various suspects. The investigation revealed that the operation was not the work of a single individual acting alone, but rather a coordinated effort involving multiple people with different roles and responsibilities. Each person questioned during the investigation provided additional pieces to the puzzle, slowly revealing the larger picture of what had been taking place. As the investigation progressed, certain names began to emerge repeatedly. These were individuals who had connections to Port Charles and had potentially been involved in the planning and execution of the kidnappings. Some were people known to the community, making the revelations even more shocking. Others were figures operating from the shadows, people who had managed to stay off the radar for years while conducting their nefarious activities. The investigation also revealed connections to criminal organizations and networks that extended beyond Port Charles, indicating that this was part of a much larger operation with implications that went far beyond what initially met the eye. Themes of resilience and justice. This entire storyline, from Anna's kidnapping through her escape with Spencer to their return to Port Charles and the subsequent investigation, embodied themes that have always been central to General Hospital. The themes of resilience in the face of adversity, the power of human connection and courage, and the ultimate triumph of justice over darkness are threads that have run through the show for decades. Anna and Spencer's story is just the latest chapter in a long history of Port Charles residents overcoming seemingly impossible odds. The storyline also explores the theme of family and loyalty. Spencer was not just rescued by Anna because it was the right thing to do. He was rescued because there is a connection between them that transcends mere coincidence. Similarly, Laura's response to the kidnapping and her determination to find those responsible is rooted in her deep love for her grandson and her commitment to protecting the people she cares about. These themes resonate with viewers because they reflect universal human experiences and values. The aftermath, life in Port Charles continues, as the initial shock of the discovery and investigation begins to settle. Life in Port Charles gradually returns to a new normal. However, the events that unfolded have left an indelible mark on the community. Residents are more aware of the threats that exist around them, and there is renewed focus on security and vigilance. For Anna and Spencer, the process of moving forward is ongoing. They have to rebuild their lives, heal from their traumatic experience, and find a way to integrate what happened to them into their ongoing stories. For viewers, this storyline provided some of the most compelling television that General Hospital has offered in recent memory. The combination of high stakes, emotional depth, character development, and the promise of justice has kept audiences invested and eagerly awaiting each new development. As the show continues to unfold, viewers will undoubtedly see the long-term consequences of these events and how they shape the future of Port Charles and its inhabitants. This chapter in General Hospital's ongoing saga demonstrates why the show has remained relevant and engaging for so many decades. The ability to craft compelling stories that combine action, emotion, character development, and moral themes is at the heart of what makes General Hospital great. Anna and Spencer's escape, their return to Port Charles, and the investigation that followed are sure to be remembered as one of the most significant and impactful storylines in the show's recent history, cementing the show's place as a leader in daytime drama and a source of entertainment that continues to captivate millions of viewers around the world.